Hi team. In this video, I want to introduce you to the private equity sourcing funnel. Sourcing an attractive investment opportunity as a private equity professional requires a tremendous amount of work. To provide an idea of the number of opportunities evaluated before making a new platform investment, I thought I would walk you through a sourcing funnel from my own background. This is actual data from a funnel I used in an investor presentation to explain our process. And I can tell you with confidence that the work required to maintain all of the data you see in the visual that follows was the most tedious part of my job at the time. Also, it's important to note that this is not an unusual funnel. Most industry data supports 100 opportunities reviewed or evaluated for every 1 or 2 transactions consummated. This funnel pulls from a particularly challenging year in which we were outbid a lot. We reviewed 300 opportunities, and here an opportunity reviewed includes anything that had enough traction to make it into our pipeline. So basically, this is an investment opportunity that superficially appeared to match our investment criteria. This stage generally involves reviewing a teaser and an email exchange or phone call with the group representing the transaction. The next stage in the funnel requires executing a confidentiality agreement, and here we signed 166 confidentiality agreements. We'll elaborate on this document in a separate lesson, but basically this document is required so that confidential information can be shared, which allows the private equity firm to determine their level of interest moving forward. Of the 166 confidentiality agreements signed, 17 of these opportunities were sufficiently attractive to submit an indication of interest. An indication of interest is a short document that expresses a valuation range at which the private equity firm would be interested in moving forward with the process. To arrive at this valuation, the investment team's work is not likely to go beyond a quick LBO, nothing too detailed, and analysis of transactions in the same industry for companies of a similar size. This is generally expressed as a multiple of EBITDA, and the language addressing valuation might read as follows. Based on the information provided in the confidential information memorandum, we believe that a fair enterprise value for the company is approximately 8.5 times to 9.5 times adjusted EBITDA of $25 million, or between $212.5 million and $237.5 million. We would expect the purchase consideration to be primarily, if not entirely, in the form of cash. At this stage, if you're asked to move forward, the amount of work required to remain in the process kicks into high gear. Submitting a letter of intent requires substantially more work than anything described up to this point. And the letter of intent will end up being the document that helps shape the stock purchase agreement, which is the principal document in a control buyout for a stock acquisition. That year, we submitted 5 letters of intent. At the time, I was working for a group that really didn't submit a letter of intent unless we believed we had a pretty good shot at winning the process. So it was tough to see 4 come back rejected. Now, after all that work, we closed 1 transaction, and the transaction itself probably required another 60 to 90 days to close. Today, I cannot recall precisely how many months of work are represented by this funnel, but it was certainly more time than we required to close. In private equity, it has been my experience that the majority of an investment team's effort is dedicated to filtering through transactions that never come to fruition, with the objective of finding a few opportunities worth acting on. To maintain all of this information properly and make sure that the investment team is responding to opportunities in a timely fashion, it's helpful to have a dedicated customer relationship management solution. This helps you track all of the parties representing opportunities. And as the funnel suggests, each transaction will have a unique timeline associated with the process. There will be deadlines for IOI and LOI submissions that the investment team needs to be aware of. A well-maintained pipeline not only ensures that these deadlines are not missed, it also helps the investment team maintain a relationship with all of the entities presenting the private equity firm with opportunities. It is so important to make an effort to connect with the group representing the transaction, even if the decision is to pass. Providing the rationale for passing communicates that the investment team is taking the time to evaluate the materials. And in an industry where passing on opportunity is the norm, cordial response goes a long way. While it's a lot of work, there are benefits to this process. You could even argue that it's critical because it exposes an investment team to information that's really not readily available. As an example, one benefit of this process is that it exposes you to businesses, industries, and business practices that you may not have been previously aware of. In that capacity, it can actually be genuinely fascinating. You'll meet true characters and hear wild success stories. But the greater benefit is the exposure to the market. In investing, the single most important variable is price. And in private markets, you spend all of your time attempting to determine what that is. This is in stark contrast to prices in public markets where it can be plucked off a ticker tape. To get this right, you have to evaluate many opportunities to develop a feel for valuation and opportunity. Ultimately, the process of thoroughly evaluating 100 plus opportunities for everyone that you close is an extraordinarily thorough means of evaluating the risk you are taking when you make the decision to move forward. So while it may take substantial work, there is a lot of valuable information to be gleaned. And assigning value to all this tedious work may help you justify the hours spent looking for the needle in the haystack. All right, team, that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please comment, like, subscribe. Just go ahead and smash all the buttons beneath. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.